I didn't plan for a big move. I was simply making some small tweaks to life, and all of a sudden, there was a major life transition. And I find myself super excited for the times ahead. The Adiyogi Chikkabalapur came up near Bangalore, but I was already in Coimbatore, near the original, that is OG Adiyogi and Dhyanlingam. So, what did it matter to me? But I went for the Naga temple consecration, and it left me plotting about how I can spend more time in the center. Eventually, I scouted some places to live closer to that center, which was amidst villages and coffee estates. And by coffee estates, I mean one coffee estate. I happened to find the one and only one coffee estate in the region. And as I stayed there for a few days in the coffee estate, going daily to the Chikkabalapur Adiyogi, I really enjoyed it, and I ended up taking a small village room. It was only to attend future events, nothing more, except that I had the room, and then I stayed for a while, and I was just enjoying my daily volunteering and the village life and stuff a lot. And then of course I headed back to Coimbatore because that's where my house was. But I realized it is too far from the Adiyogi. It was in the city, which was almost 1 hour distance. And so the option was to either shift closer to the Coimbatore Isha Center itself, and maybe in the future I might do that. But since I already had the Chikkabalapur house, I decided I may as well just shift, because that would really allow me time to spend in the Chikkabalapur Center, which is a new center coming up with all of its excitements. And so that was basically the story of how I moved from Coimbatore state to Chikkabalapur in a village. And there were 3 major life impacts that took place. One was the village life that happened because Chikkabalapur Center is in the middle of nowhere pretty much, with a lot of villages. So what I ensured when I was choosing this place in the village is that I get a lot of time outside, which actually meant that I took a very small room for myself, and the bathroom was even outside. So inevitably every single day I'm stepping out of my 4 walls, which was a big deal. The exposure to the sky, sun, winds, moon, just the natural ecosystem has shot up so much. It is brilliant. The second thing was volunteering in the ashram itself, being in the consecrated space and amongst all the fellow sadhakas, and the energy support, and just dedicating your mind to the spiritual stuff and the spiritual movement that's going on. Because I volunteered in the temple also, I could in front of me see how people were coming in and being drawn to such places. It's a fascinating experience. And the third thing was that I left my job. It was not necessary because I could have done my remote job from Chikkabalapur as well. But it would have been a little more trickier because there are power cuts here and a few other different problems. But I could have still managed it. It's just that I felt I was ready for a break from that stuff as well. And I realized that it would become a much more powerful situation if I was to take a sabbatical from the job. And so I decided to take a sabbatical for a year. And during this year, I plan to work on some side income streams. And ideally, if everything goes well, I may actually not need to take a job again because, lately the retirement ages are becoming a lot earlier. But that is what I'm saying currently when I've just left my job. For all I know, maybe a few months down the line, I may miss that whole work culture and all that stuff. So all of these moves were just thinking of a year or year and a half actually. And that often makes these things simpler. All these changes got really overwhelming at times, and I must mention especially Kalari Payattu, which has been an immense value on this transition time, especially when I got overwhelmed. And I found that when I did my Kalari practice, everything settled down, and the mind and body was so much more ready to try new things, do new things, be more creative, and just make the best of this time, because I don't want to spend this transition time in a feeling of being overwhelmed. I want to be able to enjoy it actually. And so I'm really looking forward to 2024. And since I find myself in a very interesting place right now. So as I was working on this video, I was really excited about it and I had it all planned out. It's just that just when I'm executing and doing this recording, I've found out that somebody that I felt was really close to me has gone through a very much larger transition in their life. So I'm massively overwhelmed right now. I'm hoping the person is watching this because I'm not in touch with them and I am really looking forward to catching up with them whenever